Now, many of you already know that each and every week on Tuesday we get the insurance registrations coming from some of our favorite EV stocks like NIO, and as seen on the screen for the period ending November the 3rd. NIO had total insurance registrations of 4,400, excluding ONVO. Now, ONVO had around 1,300 around the same period, which therefore takes NIO's total insurance registrations to around 5,700. This is what NIO got or scooped last week. This is what NIO scooped last week, which is amazing, which is bullish, which is pretty interesting. I mean, it has been now 6 months in a row we're seeing NIO producing or delivering over 20,000 deliveries, which is something that is incredible, something that is massive. So 4,400 is what we saw on NIO, whilst 1,300 is what we saw from ONVO, and combined they make 5,700. I mean, around the same period, Leodo had 11,400, Xpeng 5,400, Zika 5,800, Lipmoto 8,200, Aito 8,400, and of course Tesla around the same period had 15,700, Xiaomi 3,100, and BYD 96,300. So this 4,400 like NIO, it's not a bad thing. In fact, it's a good thing, because combined with ONVO they are sitting at 5,700, which shows you the kind of growth that we continue seeing onto NIO. Well, I know that this 4,400 from NIO includes the October delivery, as from Monday to Friday those days were still falling under the October deliveries. So from Friday, which was the first, to Sunday, we don't know exactly how much from this 4,400 contributed, or was the figure for this month of November, which I suppose we'll get to see with time, right? So same goes with ONVO, that 1,300, it was for the full week, but first 4 days of last week, you'll know that it was still the month, or those days fell under the October month, which therefore it means that there is on this 1,300, part of it is the fell under October, while the other part is going to fall under November, which we are still going to find out exactly how many NIO sold. But I suppose it looks great. 5,700, it's not bad at all. I mean, if there's one thing that NIO right now, it's still a bit a challenge for NIO, it's ramping up their production capacity. They've been ramping up the production capacity, and so far so good, man. I mean, ONVO on October, or during the month of October, they sold 4,300, which shows you that NIO continues growing, increasing their production capacity. Yes, they might not be maybe selling as expected, but the time will come. In March next year, they should be able to sell 20,000 deliveries. So this month, it is safe to say we can expect 7,000 to 8,000 deliveries from ONVO alone, because NIO continues upgrading the production capacity of their F2 factory, catering also the deliveries for ONVO, which is massive, which is bullish. NIO, on the other hand, we know that what the CEO said last week is that they are not going to chase sales, they are not going to chase selling most units, but rather they want to focus on making sure that gross margin stabilizes, meaning that they have to cut, or they are going to continue maybe cutting some incentives which are compromising the gross margins for NIO models, which I think it's quite interesting and understandable, because the units or the deliveries will be pushed by the sub brands, whilst NIO continue maintaining the high gross margins, which is something that is pretty exciting. Now you will know that what we saw last month of NIO delivering just over 16,600 deliveries, we might see a better figure now this month, because apparently NIO is currently running some incentives. Though they cut down on incentives in October, there are new incentives which they have introduced for the month of November, like the NOP Plus, which is now going to be for free for 3 years, which is something that I suppose it's pretty good. It's a decent thing, because usually NOP Plus you are supposed to pay, but NIO, part of the incentive is that you'll get that software for free, or you will enjoy the NOP Plus, which is the driving assistance feature in the car, absolutely for free in the next coming 3 years. After 3 years, then you will start paying. These are some of the incentives that NIO launched for the month of November, as they are rushing to make sure that they grab as many vehicles as we head towards the festive seasons. This is what we know from NIO. This is what, of course, we read, and we also the NIO CEO told us last week. So tell me what you think about this. 5,700, is it good enough for you? I know some of the people want 8,000, 10,000, but let's be fair, NIO has not really ramped up production, and what the NIO CEO told us last week, it is that NIO never really had that much of production capacity issues. The issue was always demand, because NIO cars are not cheap. They don't come cheap, and therefore they cannot be just afforded by anyone, and it takes time, of course, and those that afford the NIO cars, seeing them not so many, it makes it difficult for NIO to get quite a number of orders, right? I mean, the premium segment in itself, I know that it cannot be afforded by quite a number of people, but one thing that we can say positive about NIO is that it continues taking away the market share from other premium brands like Mercedes, BMW, which is incredible, which is amazing to companies like NIO. Another thing, or massive thing, that is helping NIO sell well is, of course, the subsidies which the Chinese government has been offering to those that are changing their old cars for either gas cars or new energy vehicle cars, which for the subsidy for new energy vehicle cars is around 20,000 RMB, which is massive, which is incredible, and it shows you the massive support that China is giving to the new energy vehicle cars like NIO. I mean, there is a rumor that says that these current subsidies which the government is giving or issuing to those that are buying new energy vehicle cars is going to be increased through these massive stimulus that China just announced, which some of the people, they still don't believe that it's there. So we might be getting, I don't know if the subsidy will increase, but if we get that increase, then it's lights out for stocks like NIO, right? If we get to see subsidies being increased on new energy vehicle cars to over 20,000, I think that will be pretty bullish to new energy vehicle cars like NIO. So tell me what you think about this, man. Blue Sky is coming. 5,700 is what NIO produced last week, which out of that 4,400 it came from the NIO main brand models, and that is your ES6, ES7, ES8, EC6, EC7, ET5, ET5 Touring, and of course the ET7, which, knowing that they managed to get 4,400, I suppose it's amazing and incredible, and it shows you the kind of resilience that the NIO models still have in the market. Regardless of how expensive they are still putting a good show and making sure that they go out there and compete and grab as many customers as possible, which is something that we love to watch, or we like as investors. Otherwise, with all that, do your own DD, man, before you buy NIO for the very first time. This stock is quite volatile, and therefore it requires you to have done some due diligence, so that at least you can be comfortable as you are investing onto this stock. Otherwise, don't forget to hit that like button, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell, so that at least you get notified by YouTube every time I drop a new content. Blue Sky is coming, long term will win. That's all from me, and God bless you all.